Happy Hanukkah to all Zionists worldwide. Today I want to go ahead and discuss this. I told you so. To all the relatives, friends of mine who were championing Donald Trump as the one who will save the United States of America, I warned you. I warned you. Trump hosts gala for homosexual Republicans at Mar-a-Lago after Biden signs same-sex marriage law. So the United States of America has flipped two birds at the sky and not just one. From the Democrat Party and from the Republican Party. And of course, I have done videos explaining the origins of the Democrat Party. The origin of the Democrat Party is Greece. Democracy comes from Greece. The Republic comes from Rome. Both Greece and Rome are guilty of invading Jerusalem. It is written that all the people, it's in Zechariah 14, all of the people who invaded Jerusalem, who fought against Jerusalem, are going to receive the plague described very much like nuclear weapons. Okay, and this was posted yesterday, the first day of Hanukkah. And as I understand, Joe Biden signed this bill into law either December the 17th or December the 18th. I think it was the 18th, the day before Hanukkah, the day that Jehovah told Haggai the prophet would be the day that the destruction of the Gentiles, militaries, their governments begins. If you want me to be perfectly honest with you, I was expecting nuclear weapons to be flying that day. I was expecting that. Now, I told you in my videos that I don't know if it's going to be then or not. Trump was joined by Arizona's 2022 GOP gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake, another champion of the conservative Republicans, these devout Christians. With an array of high-profile gay cons, homosexual conservatives, including former Director of National Intelligence Rick Grenell, a Trump appointee, and a frequent Tucker Carlson guest, commentator Chadwick Moore. You might say that Donald Trump is the Hugh Hefner of sodomites. Although Trump reportedly did not mention the new law in his speech, he did proclaim, "We are fighting for the gay community, and we are fighting and fighting hard." I told you so. I told you. Some of you wouldn't listen. You would talk over me when I tried to explain it. Well, I'll tell you what. You can talk over me all you want to. You can mock me, you can make fun of me all you want to. But when the day of reckoning comes, who are you going to make fun of? Who are you going to mock? Who are you going to talk over? Now, so this was posted yesterday, so I expect we're going to get a statement any minute now from Vladimir Putin. Important announcement by V and B, I guess is the same in Greek. Putin in the next 24 hours from the Ministry of Defense. Great concern in Kyiv. What's going to happen? President Vladimir Putin will make a particularly important announcement at a defense meeting next week, according to Russian state media. We are expecting important announcements. Pavel Zarubin, host of the Moscow Kremlin Putin program, told state broadcaster WGTRK. According to the televised program, Putin will preside over an annual expanded meeting of the Defense Ministry. The exact date of the meeting is not yet chosen. The Russian president is expected to travel on Monday, the 19th, that was yesterday, to Minsk for talks with the leader of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. Now, what is this nonsense? All people are equal. No, they're not. It's the same nonsense they try to preach over here. All people are not equal. Men and women are not equal. Russian president expressed confidence that all the changes taking place now in Russia and in the world are for the better. And with its actions, the Russian Federation will be able to make the world more just, where all peoples are equal. Putin on Sunday, December 18th, 2022, sent a message to the participants of the first conference of the Russian Children and Youth Movement. You probably know that big changes are taking place not only in Russia, the whole world is changing. I believe that these changes for the better, and I hope with our actions, determination, and at the same time, the sincerity of our intentions, plans, principles, we can make the world fairer, he pointed out. A world where all people are truly equal, where we all have the right to be respected, to follow their traditions, to speak their own language, to honor their ancestors, and all have the opportunity for maximum fulfillment of goals, them regardless of the circumstances on which a person grew up and which the family they come, he added. Meanwhile, forced conscription is rampant over there in Russia. They send soldiers with barely any shoes on, no equipment, and no ammo to be cannon fodder. Well, that's some kind of equality, isn't it? So, what is the speculation all about? About the announcement that's supposed to be made? Well, according to Zero Hedge, and by the way, Tyler Durden is a fictitious character, is not a real person. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko said the situation neighboring Ukraine is escalating, just before receiving a rare in-country visit by his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. In statements published by the Presidential Press Service, Lukashenko sought to refute rumors and allegations that Moscow is essentially running the country. This is Russian This as Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu were already in Minsk on Monday, yesterday, the first day of Hanukkah, just ahead of Putin's arrival in Minsk. While still under Western sanctions over Belarus's role in assisting Russia as a staging ground for the Ukraine invasion, Lukashenko has struck a fiercely defiant tone, saying, "I would like to emphasize." Now, years ago, I worked at I don't know if you would call it a factory, but I was doing inventory of mechanical parts in this manufacturing plant. So a manufacturing plant was what it was. And one of the young fellas came up to me, and he came up to me and he said, "I would like to thank you, for delivering his parts on time, and all that." And I told you I would like to say you're welcome in a sarcastic manner, because one of the things that irritates me is people saying things that they don't know what they're saying. Or maybe they do know what they're saying. Another one is, "I would like to apologize." For somebody to say, "I would like to apologize," is not an apology. For one to say, "I would like to thank you," is not a thank you. Just as for someone to say, "I would like to say you're welcome," is not a you're welcome. And of course I did that to point out the error in his speech. So Lukashenko says, "I would like to emphasize this feature once again. No one except us governs Belarus." That means Russia governs Belarus. "We must always proceed with the fact that we are a foreign state." Why didn't he just say, we are a sovereign state and independent? But he said we must always proceed from the fact that we are a sovereign state and independent. He can't come out and say the truth. Look, you can see what's going on here. This sparks fear in Kyiv and among Western backers that Belarus forces could directly enter the Ukraine conflict in support of the Russian Defense Ministry. So, what we're looking at here is the expectation of Belarus joining the war, and that would essentially make it World War III. So, something may have happened on that day. The day that I keep talking about. The 24th day of the 9th month on the Hebrew calendar. While the United States of America, both political parties are championing and celebrating Sodom and Gomorrah. So those of you who talked over me, when I told you what your champion was, when I told you that this country is going to ruin, kick rocks. Let judgment begin as soon as possible.